maths fans. Welcome to the Daily News Show, the only way to kick off your day at this year's Heidelberg Laureate Forum. I am your host, Dr. Tom Crawford. I'm a mathematician at the University of Oxford, and I'm also the face of the Tom Rocks Maths YouTube channel. You may also recognize me from the odd number file video or two. This show will be taking place every day this week, and I'll be looking ahead at what we have in store for you. Kind of a few teasers, a few interviews with some of our superstar guests, and just generally getting us all a little bit excited about what's to come. Now, with this in mind, let's take a look at what we have for you today. So this is, of course, day one of this year's HLF. So, of course, we have an opening ceremony. That is something that hasn't changed despite the virtual format. So the opening ceremonies here, they're always very entertaining, in fact. And I think it's great that we have speakers from the local town. So we have the mayor of Heidelberg, for example. We also have the state minister for arts and science will be giving a speech. And it just kind of shows the reach of this particular event. After the opening ceremony, we then kick off with the lectures, which is, let's be honest, what you're all really here for. So the first lecture will come from this year's Arbel Prize awardee, the Arbel Prize Laureate 2020-21, or one of the laureates, I should say, if I'm being correct. So we have Avi Widgerson, who will be talking about methods of proof. He also did a fantastic video a few years ago now on the Numberphile channel talking about zero knowledge proofs. So if you haven't seen that yet, I do strongly recommend you check that out as a little precursor for his upcoming lecture. Then we've got this year's ACM Prize in Computing laureate, Scott Aronson. And I actually interviewed Scott back in 2015 when I was working at the BBC. Back then, he was talking about the P versus NP problem. I'm pretty sure he's talking about something different today, but I'm sure it will be just as fascinating. After those lectures, we have the Scientific Speed Networking session. So you should all be automatically signed up for this. Basically, you will be randomly assigned another person to meet. So, you know, it's a good opportunity to meet new people, and I will be giving you a potential conversation prompt in just a moment. Then we have the laureate group sessions. I'll be talking more about these in a moment as well, but these are particularly exciting because it allows a group of 10 young researchers, meaning you, to actually interact with a laureate for 30 minutes. Now, there are only 10 spaces available per laureate, so it is important that you sign up in advance. So if you haven't already, do check that out and get yourself signed up for those sessions. I'm kind of jealous. I would love to spend 30 minutes with any of these laureates. And then to top off and end the day, we have the Science Communication panel. We have Vint Cerf, the Chief Internet Evangelist at Google, will be part of that panel. He's always very entertaining, along with two TEDx speakers, Jürgen Richter-Giebert and Talithia Williams. So plenty to look forwards to. Now, of course, this is a virtual HLF, and we are trying to make this as interactive as possible. And what I'm going to be doing each day to try and facilitate that is actually, getting you all to do a poll, getting you all to vote. And I'm trying to pick out what I'm calling the, let's say, inverted air commas, big questions of maths and computer science. And these are meant as conversation starters. So again, this might help with your networking session later. So the question I want you to vote on and think about today is, hopefully now on screen for you, is mathematics discovered or invented? Now, whilst you're having a think about that and casting your votes, we will, of course, show you the results at the end of today's show. And as I said, you know, do use that to potentially have a conversation in those networking sessions later. Now, again, we want to make this as interactive as possible. And to really let us all, or to tell you all just how you can do that, I'm joined by the scientific chair of the HLF. This is Anna Wienhard, who is here to tell us more about these interactive features. So, welcome.
Thank
you.
Now,
Anna, I've obviously mentioned the laureate group sessions, which I'm really excited about. So let's start there. Could you tell everyone a little bit more about how they're going to work and how they can get involved?
Yeah, it's also one part of the program I'm really excited about, that we have these laureate group sessions every day. So now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not on Thursday when we have the closing day of the HLF. We have something else there, and I will say a little bit about that perhaps a bit later. But for the laureate group sessions, so each laureate group sessions, we have a couple of laureates who will have a discussion either on a topic or an informal chat with a group of 10 young researchers. And the young researchers can sign up through the conference tool and then join the laureate with video and audio in a hopefully animated discussion.
So it's trying to recreate those, like, let's say, coffee break chats that would normally take place, of course, here in Heidelberg.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we have the problem with in the digital domain that it's easy to recreate the lectures or even also the panels, but these things which happen in between at coffee or at the in-person HLF, outside dinner or lunch, I mean, it's much harder to recreate in the digital domain, and for this, we try to find formats to make these happen somehow.
Yeah. And actually, there's even a further step for these meetings as well. I believe there are one-to-one sessions that can also be booked.
Yes, so this is something I really also would like to ask everyone to take advantage of. In the conference tool, we have so many opportunities to network one-on-one, so you can send messages to each other, you can request meetings among the young researchers with other guests of the HLF and with the laureates as well, and then set up some time also before the program and after the official program to network. And of course, I mean, as you will probably mention tonight, we also have the VR, the virtual reality, where people can meet and interact.
Absolutely. And what about for, let's say, the more traditional lectures and panel discussions? How do people submit their questions there?
Yeah, so for the lectures and also panels, hot topic, and the laureate dialogues and laureate discussions, there's always next to the video, it's called Slido, so basically some kind of chat function where you can submit questions. You can also vote on questions submitted, so you can vote questions up. So that, well, I think you can only like and push them up. And this way you can make sure that your question is asked in the Q&A session. And then there's also, I mean, as you said, creating these more coffee break things. After the panels, we always have after the panel, a fishbowl discussion, where again you can join one of the panelists in a small group discussion, which is a bit similar to the laureate group sessions, but not only for the young researchers. So you have to register, you have to sign up, and then 10 people can have the video on and interact live with video, and the others can always listen, and then you can rotate and change, and new people can come on with the video. And
so it's important for that one to turn your video off once you've asked your question and had your chat to let other people have an opportunity.
Yes, that's true. And also for the laureate group sessions, I would really ask the young researchers, if you registered and you cannot make it, please cancel your registration so that someone else gets the chance, because as you said, there are always only 10 places, so that it's really an intimate
gold dust.
discussion.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Anna. So if you do still have any other questions or you're unsure about anything, there is a how-to video on the platform which will fill in, hopefully, any gaps that might be remaining. So that just about brings us to the end of our first daily news show. As I said, I'll be back every day looking ahead to what's coming up that day. But of course, we've got to talk about the poll results. I want to know how you all voted. I'm going to see the results just at the same time as all of you. So it looks like it's discovered. Maths is discovered, according to our young researcher panel. So remember, do you agree, disagree? Maybe you can use this in your networking conversations later. And final thing, I will be back later today and every day this week with a daily recap show, looking back at the highlights, and I want you all to get involved. So what that means is share your tweets, your photos with the hashtag HLF21 so that I know where to look for them, and I'll be sharing some of my favorites each day in the recap show. So make sure you do that for a chance to be featured. And that just leaves me to say, have a good day, enjoy everything, and I'll see you all later.